beautiful Nicolettes. Welcome back to my channel, or hello if you're new. Recently my hygiene videos have been taking really well to you, but I've also been getting a lot of requests to do more period videos, so I thought I'd put the two together and do a period hygiene tips video. So these are all my tips and tricks on how to stay clean and hygienic near that time of the month that we never want to actually come, because periods can be a struggle, let me tell you. I know that you girls feel me out there. I think it's really important to make sure that you are acting extra hygienic near that time, because you are more likely to get things such as infections, which obviously nobody wants. If you guys like this video and want me to do a period life hacks, thumbs it up, and if we get this video to 5,000 thumbs up, I will make sure to do that. I think that it's time to finally bring the period videos back, if you feel me. Even if you want me to do any other period related videos, just leave a comment. I'm always reading your comments like every single day, so I can guarantee you I will most likely see your comment. And thank you guys, by the way, for all your sweet comments. It literally makes my day every single day. If you guys have any questions or concerns and you just want to contact me, follow me on my socials. I'm most active on Instagram. It's just @NicolettaXOYT, so it means so much to me if you guys joined my Instagram fam jam as well. So that being said, let's just get into the video. The first tip is to choose your method of sanitation, of course. I feel like obviously you have to do this or it's just gonna be a mess. TMI, I know. What I mean by that, so do you want to use tampons? Do you want to use pads? Do you want to use menstrual cups? There's so many different things that you can use now during that time of the month that it depends on your personal preference and what method you want to choose, but you can definitely try different options out and kind of just see what works for you and what you like the best and feel most comfortable in. Looking into different types of methods or different brands. Of course, when you find something you like, you can use that every single month. Picking your method is the #1 tip, because if we didn't have that, then it would be quite messy. Leave a comment down below telling me what's your method of choice. Do you like tampons? Do you like pads? Menstrual cups? This leads me to tip #2, which is to change regularly. The standard time to actually change is every 6 hours to change if you wear pads. If you're using the tampon route, they say 2 to 3 hours. It obviously depends on each person, because some people do have a heavier flow, some people have a very light flow, so it really depends. Don't just wait until the hours and then be like, oh, like, now I should change it, when maybe you needed to change it way before. It is really bad to keep your products there. Basically, once the stuff leaves and it enters onto your sanitation products, what happens is it gets contaminated with your body's innate organisms. When these organisms remain in a warm, moist area for too long, it can lead to infections and as well as skin rashes, which of course you do not want. So it is really important to make sure that you are changing your products regularly. That leads me to tip #3, and that is to not double up. And I have to admit, this is something I definitely did just to be like, you know, extra safe. I thought that was the way to go, but I've been reading everywhere that it's actually worse to double up. And what I mean by that is don't use more than one product at a time. So don't use 2 pads, don't use a tampon and a pad. Just use one product at a time. #1 is because it's gonna discourage you to make sure you're changing regularly, because you're gonna think you're good and it's just not gonna encourage you to change constantly. And as well as, reason why you don't wanna use 2 pads at once, for example, is because the blood is gonna absorb onto those 2 pads and your pads can actually be completely used up, but you can't see it. That's bad, obviously, to soak in that stuff. Of course, it's not good for you. You need to make sure that you're changing and you're getting out of it. Which, if you're soaking in it as well, it could lead to rashes and infections. I suggest just refraining from doubling up, and it's also gonna encourage you more to make sure that you are changing, because nobody wants an accident, because it could be the most embarrassing thing ever. I definitely have been there and done that, not gonna lie. TMI, but we're all girls here, right? Tip #4 is to avoid pad rash. So of course this one applies to only those that prefer to use pads as their method of choice near this time. Usually if someone does have a heavier flow, you're more likely to experience pad rash. And pretty much what pad rash is, it occurs when your pad has been wet for too long and it starts to rub against your thighs and chafe, and it leads to a skin rash. To avoid this problem, make sure that you're staying dry during your period, which of course that means switching often, like I said. And if you do already have a pad rash, something you could do to heal it and also prevent chafing or further chafing is to use an antiseptic ointment. after you bathe, and as well as before you go to bed. That's gonna help it. Of course, if it's extremely serious, you're gonna have to go to your doctor, of course, but this is for those more mild cases. Once you got all your goods and you're all good down there, number 5 is to discard your sanitation products properly. Don't just throw it into the garbage can. Don't just throw it into your toilet and flush it down, because one, you should not be flushing your products down. I know so many girls do this, but it's really bad to flush like a pad down or a tampon down, because it is capable of forming a block and causing your toilet to back up. So you don't want to be in that situation where you're in someone else's house, or maybe you're at your crush's house, you're on a date, and you throw your stuff, and that happens to be the day that your toilet gets backed up, and then you gotta explain that whole story, and it's just an embarrassing situation no one wants to go through. So do not throw that stuff in the toilet. Make sure that you're throwing it into the garbage can, but before you throw it into the garbage can, you need to wrap it around with a tissue, of course. I always do this. The reason why you want to discard your products properly is because it is capable of spreading infections, and as well as having that foul smell that of course you don't want. So it's important to wrap it in a tissue properly before you do discard it into the garbage can, and this is basically going to contain the infection and as well as the smell, so that you're not going to have any of that stinkiness in your bathroom. And speaking of that, when you do discard your used products, of course you want to make sure that you're washing your hands right after, because it is so unhygienic not to keep up with washing your hands, which I went on a little tangent on my last hygiene video. I know I said it enough in that video, so I won't go too into depth right now, but wash those hands, girls. And this leads me to be ready to have on-the-go stuff during your period time. You don't want to ever be caught outside in public. Maybe you're out somewhere and you don't have any hygiene products with you, or maybe you leaked and you have nothing with you, and it's just so embarrassing. My tips that I have for you is to make something that you can take every single month and put it into your car, into your purse, and that includes carrying your feminine products, and that includes your tampons, pads, etc., as well as bringing a hand sanitizer so that you can sanitize your hands anywhere just in case. To also bring a healthy snack, especially near that time if you feel run down or weak. It's important to have a snack. A snack I really recommend is a banana, because bananas are full of potassium and they are said to be really great near your period because it does help with cramps. So if you get really bad cramps, have a banana with you because it really does help with that. Also carry a water bottle with you at all times to make sure you're staying hydrated. I find that near the time it's really important, especially to keep up with your hydration. And another thing I do like to carry is a new pair of underwear, or even an extra pair of pants, just in case if you do have a leak and you don't want to be stuck in that embarrassing situation. If you happen to have a leak and let's say you don't have pants or an underwear to change into, hopefully you're wearing some sort of sweater or flannel, because you can always tie it around your waist for the moment before you get home and you can change, because obviously it is really embarrassing. We probably all had one time in our life where we had an accident. Please let me know I'm not alone. But it's just a thing that no girl wants to be in, so I always like to have kind of like an emergency kit for my period time, and I always like to bring that with me all the time. Now the next tips are all gonna be about washing. So that leads me to tip number 7, which is to wash regularly, especially when you are on that time of the month. Of course, you should be keeping up with your body hygiene as normal every single day, but it is important to really make sure that you are washing regularly near that time of the month. A lot of girls, I feel like, are afraid of odors near that time, and if you're keeping up and washing down there with the tissue and you're constantly cleaning up around that area, it's going to make sure that you don't have any odors. Basically beat the odor that's down there. It's just really important to keep up with your washing. And that leads me to number 8, which is not to use soaps and hygiene products down there. So I kind of touched on this as well in my last hygiene video, which I will just have that video linked for you guys because I have a lot of great tips in that. And I said to not use pretty much soaps or hygiene products down there, because our lady bigs had their own cleaning mechanisms that actually do clean itself. So by you putting in hygiene products or soaps, different types of soaps that you buy at the store can actually disrupt this. Basically, washing yourself down there can lead to killing the good bacteria, which it makes way for infections. So while it is important to wash regularly, all you really need is warm water down there. And that's it. It's super simple. You don't have to go buy all these random tools to help clean there. You just need some warm water. So you can use soap around the external parts, but just make sure you're not getting it inside. Now that you are cleaning, it's important to use the right technique. So always wash in a motion that's from your lady bits. Never wash it in the opposite direction. Always wash and clean the area and emotion that is from you as opposed to the opposite direction. If you clean constantly with the opposite direction, it can cause bacteria, which can lead to infections. So when you are cleaning, it's just really important to know how to clean properly as well. This leads me to number 10, which obviously will not apply to everyone, but if you have a bath, try to bath more regularly during your period. I feel like a lot of people may think that it would be worse to bathe regularly near that time because you're just kind of soaking in there, but it's actually much better. The reason why it's much better to bathe regularly, especially near that time, it not only cleanses your body as well when you are taking a bath, but it really makes sure that it is clean down there because you are soaking in it. Even a little bit of warm water is gonna go a long way in cleaning that area. Positives of taking a bath, and it is gonna relieve menstrual cramps as well as backaches. It also improves your mood and it makes you feel less bloated. I actually also like to sometimes take my baths with Epsom salt, which is also really great to help with you feeling less bloated, because we all know during that time you feel like 5 pounds heavier because of all the water weight. And that leads me to my last tip, which is to replace your towels often. You need to make sure that you're constantly replacing your towels, especially near that time, even more so. And the reason for that is because having fresh, dry towels is going to make sure to avoid any bacteria going near your area. By using fresh towels, it's gonna help you avoid contact with bacteria down there. When your towel is damp, it is more likely to cling on to the bacteria. So switching out and changing to fresh towels constantly is really important. Those are all my tips for our lovely time of the month. I hope you guys learned something new. If you want more period videos, like I said, thumbs this up so I know. Also, join the fam by hitting the subscribe button on my channel to become a part of the Nicolette's Fam Gym. I'd love for you guys to be a part of it. As well as if you head over to my channel and you click the bell until like the 2 little dings come next to it, the lines, that will make sure that you're notified when I do upload, because you never know now when YouTube's gonna promote someone's video or not, because apparently that's the way it goes now. But I do upload every Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday, so if you don't wanna miss an upload, I definitely will have a video on that day, so make sure you guys stay tuned. Don't forget to join me on my Instagram Fam Gym as well. I would love for you guys to become a family over on there with me as well, because I love talking to you guys. But I hope you guys are having an amazing day, evening, or night whenever you're watching this, and I'll catch you guys in my next one. Bye!